my kids are the reason I'm doing this movie, because they gave me the graphic novel for Father's Day. So very ironic, of a movie about aging and kids growing up, and your kids actually give you this graphic novel, and they found it's an obscure graphic novel they found in a comic book store. It was like, it's actually like a movie premise of like finding this obscure book. And Shauna, who directed Second Unit, is amazing filmmaker. I mean, all our kids grew up in a house of art. I always tell them when they were babies, and a fan comes up to me and says, "Oh, I love your movies," and they walk away and they go, "What do you think about that, Dad?" And I'm like, "Well, that person paid for one of the bricks of our house. So you have to be gracious to them, And I said, and and it's from the things that I make up in my head. So we're really, really lucky." And so they have really come to honor the art form of film and music and dance and all of those. They take it very seriously. And so Shauna has grown up in that environment and is an amazing filmmaker. And so it was a beautiful thing to be on one side of the beach shooting, and I see down the beach she's shooting something else. It's an amazing feeling. And at the end of the day, we were like, work buddies. At the end of the day, we would go and have a drink and eat something at the bar, at the hotel, and then fall asleep. And we would just chat about what happened. "Oh, I can't believe the camera jammed on that thing." And we would share stories. When I was thinking of the premise, and I wondered whether audiences would be okay without a physical villain. There isn't a raptor chasing them, trying to eat them. It's time. And would they be able to wrap their arms around that existential threat? But they do. They very much feel it, clipping at their heels the whole movie. I think it's a form of us being scared of dying. That when I say, "Hey, when you're 13 years old, are you thinking about, does a 13-year-old boy think about vulnerability?" No, they don't think about anything. They're going to live forever, right? Their perception of time is so slow that I'm going to live in 80 more years or 70 more years feels like 4,000 years to them. But if I sped it up that fast, where they're going, "Oh my, I have till nightfall to live," then it's suddenly extremely scary. We were doing it during the height of the pandemic, so we couldn't go anywhere. I mean, you couldn't even, stroll off of the beach and go to the local town. You couldn't do anything, right? The actors and I, we were just there, back to the hotel, back again. So we had that same sense of being trapped, but it was also beautiful and an intense feeling of this juxtaposition of something very scary happening in our lives, and yet we're in a beautiful place. And I think that thing of horror and beauty together is what makes Old kind of special for audiences, that they see it and it sticks with them, that juxtaposition. When I sit to think about a movie, I think about my aunt who lives in Malaysia, and my cousin who's in London, and my other cousin in Singapore, and my uncle who lives in Australia, and I have family all around the world. And I think that all of those influences, especially the cinema from all the different places in the world as well, are in my movies, and it's an important part of who I am. And so when I tell stories, they're for the whole world, and United States is where my home is, but it's one of many places I'm telling the story to. And so to have a cast that represents so many of those countries, I mean, we had so many people from all the different countries, and so many of them did their accents themselves. It was a beautiful thing to have a story where people of all different backgrounds were just playing dad, mom, neighbor, doctor. They weren't playing their ethnicity. They were just playing being a dad or a mom or a husband, and we were supposed to identify with them. That's a really beautiful thing, that we're at that place.